the end. So we are going to get started here. We're going to first answer a question, and then we're going to delve into the specifics of Pacific Beach estate homes and home sites. And I'm super excited to review these opportunities with you, because I know a lot of people recently have been looking at options of having alternative places to live, having a plan B, whether it means relocating full-time or perhaps maybe moving full-time or part-time or just having a vacation home. We all have different reasons for why it is we're looking at property overseas. And I do just want to address this question from Brian, as I mentioned. So Brian just asked, I don't see any flights available. How do I get there? So I am going to jumpstart with this. And right now, the US-based airlines are not flying down to Nicaragua. Nicaragua has not closed its borders. It is still open, but it's just the US-based airlines that are not coming down. They're supposed to come back, get started in September, I believe it is. But what some folks have been doing is flying from Cancun and then Cancun going to Nicaragua. I know some folks have also chartered planes. So if you get a group of friends together and interested in doing that, that is an option for you as well. But that is something I do want to start with, is Nicaragua did not close its borders. There are still flights coming down. US-based airlines are starting next month, so you will be able to get here quite easily. So with that, we are going to just jump right into the presentation and go from there. So my name is Rachel Jensen. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for ECI Development. I'm a global real estate investor as well. Nicaragua is one of the first countries I lived abroad. I absolutely loved it. Spent a lot of time at Gran Pacifica. Now I'm based in Belize. I'll give you a little bit more of my story in a second, but who I really wanted to introduce and someone I'm really excited to be co-hosting this webinar with is Giovanni Rodriguez. And Giovanni is the general manager at Gran Pacifica. He's also a citizen of Nicaragua. And he and I met when I first started with ECI Development, our parent company, over 8 years ago. And Gio and I attend a lot of conferences together. And there's just this really great energy about him. When Gio talks about Nicaragua, his eyes light up. He's so excited to share with you everything Nicaragua based. So with that, Gio, I'm going to let you have the floor. Tell us a little bit more about you, yourself, your history, anything you want to share with us.
Perfect. Thank you, Rachel, and thank you everyone for giving me the opportunity. I hope I don't get you bored with my story. My name is Giovanni Rodriguez Rosotto. So I'm the son of a Spanish man and an Italian woman. I was born in Nicaragua, and I lived here until I was actually 15 years old. We actually moved from Nicaragua to United States, and I was actually in the United States for about 30 years. I really enjoyed my stay in United States. I was actually managing hotels, 5-star, 5-diamond hotels, mainly in the Miami area. They used to actually send me to Puerto Rico back and forth because I speak Spanish. And sometimes they needed me to actually go there. But I was actually based on Miami most of my 30 years. And everything was actually wonderful, you know, very successful. I really enjoyed Miami. But I tell you something, everything came to an end when I actually got divorced. Things start like not making sense to me from every point of view. And I started realizing that, that I needed to actually look into, you know, Nicaragua one more time and see opportunities here. So I ended up actually selling 2 of my companies. I was actually owner of a Sofale investment group, and I was actually also owner of Mora Investment Group. It was actually 2 companies that I owned. I used to actually own warehouses around the airport in Miami. And at the same time, I was actually managing general manager of hotels in Miami. Sold my house, sold the companies, you know, and practically, you know, cash out after doing my own research about Nicaragua and coming back here, looking for opportunities. I tell you, why did I move? Well, I moved for many reasons. The first reason was I have no kids. I was already divorced. And my companies, the properties that I used to actually own, they were completely paid off. My house was paid off. My warehouses were paid off. And the taxes were just killing me. I was like to the point where I'm like, you know something, I'm tired of this. I'm just gonna go ahead and sell, wrap my money, and then I'm gonna actually go to a place where I can have, you know, I would say more opportunities, you know, when I purchase, more opportunities for me when it comes to time, quality of time. And I enjoyed, you know, as a good European, I enjoyed actually good food, you know, quality of food. So I actually, you know, decide to explore Nicaragua and see, you know, what can I actually do. I have actually the, you know, great pleasure to meet, you know, the owner of, you know, ECI, which is actually Mr. Mike Cobb and Mr. Nagel too. And they hire me as a general manager for, you know, Gran Pacifica Resort here in Nicaragua. And I've been actually in Nicaragua since 8 years ago. I actually moved back from the United States to Nicaragua. There's few things that I want to actually tell you, that things that I thought and reality. Whatever I thought, uh, it was, I always ended up being short. And let me explain myself. I came here, I was actually thinking that I needed about $300,000 to buy a house. Well, I bought a house for $150,000. I thought that I needed about $3,000 to live in Nicaragua. And then I realized that all that I needed was about $800 to live in Nicaragua. Then, you know, I realized that, you know, I wanted actually also a property, you know, close to the ocean, right? I thought that I needed another $300,000, and then I realized that all that I needed was, you know, 100 and something thousand dollars. So all that I'm saying is that it's all about also the type of quality of life that you want to have. The good thing about Nicaragua is that it is an amazing, productive country where your cost of living, okay, is really, really low. You can do a lot with your money and still have the quality of life, food, and healthcare also. We have an amazing hospital here, which is actually the Pelas Hospital. And I tell you, I have an insurance that it actually covers me when I'm here in Nicaragua or when I'm actually traveling. Depends of the condition, your health conditions, okay, that, you know, healthcare insurance can actually change. But in my particular case, I pay $1,200 a year for this, you know, health insurance. So there's a lot of things that you can actually find here that you will go like, I can't believe how inexpensive this is. And like I said before, and still have the quality of life that you want. So with that in mind, I moved back. Actually, I got married here. My daughter and my wife, it's Fiorella and Huguet. She is a dentist, and she actually owns one of the most successful dental clinic here in Nicaragua. They do dental implants. They have a USA licensee, dental licensee, and most important, they actually have an international licensee, which is a little bit more even difficult. So when it comes to quality of healthcare, that I was actually saying to you before, and a dental implant here in Nicaragua might be about $1,500, where in United States, you're gonna be in the $7,000, right? So there is a lot of opportunities in real estate. There's a lot of opportunities of quality of life. There's a lot of opportunities also, I would say, you know, to enjoy the beautiful nature of a country like Nicaragua. Don't know if I have any questions, Rachel, so far.
Sure, and we'll get to questions at the end. So if anybody has any questions for Gio about his experience of living in Nicaragua or coming back to Nicaragua, starting a family there, just feel free to jot those into the Q&A section, and we'll definitely get those answered at the end there. But Gio, you hit upon a point that I wasn't necessarily going to get up, because I know that we covered Nicaragua a lot more generally in the Nicaragua 101 presentation, but you did touch upon something that is really important, and is something that I've been hearing a lot of people ask about, which is medical care and cost of living. And to touch upon that and to reiterate that, what Gio is mentioning is just that the cost of living is so much more affordable in a country like Nicaragua, but you're not necessarily giving up the standards or the qualities that you're used to, because you do have these highly accredited dentists and doctors who are there taking care of you. You have high quality food. I know you can buy really affordable, organic, naturally growing food there for a fraction of what they're trying to charge you at Whole Foods these days. And it really just is immaculate there. And if anybody is looking for to get some dental work done, Gio's wife does a fantastic job at that. Just let him know, and I'm sure he'll give you the details. So I'm going to jump into a little bit about me, and then we're going to get into the presentation here. So I'm from New York originally. I made my way down to Nicaragua for the first time in 2010. I was on a medical mission trip initially when I was in college. I thought that I wanted to be a doctor, so I was taking all the pre-med classes. I was taking Spanish as well, and ended up down in Nicaragua on a 2-week trip. We spent one day at Gran Pacifica. Actually, Gio, you may have, I don't know if you were there in 2010, but Mike Cobb wasn't there. He's the developer, but there was one of the other general managers there. And our group just had a fantastic time just relaxing and taking a break from everything. And I really just fell in love with the country. And at that point, went back to college, was nearing graduation, and I realized I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do medicine anymore. I already took the classes. So I just figured, why don't I apply for the Peace Corps? And I did apply for the Peace Corps. I got in. I would have been teaching English in Panama the January following graduation, which left a good time between May to January to actually do something. And I ended up back in Nicaragua during that time to take an internship with the developer, ECI Development, and ultimately decided to stay with them. I had a prolonged internship. I'm in my 8th year here, but it's been a really great experience with the organization. And really, when I was trying to weigh the pros and cons of, do I stay with this developer or do I go to the Peace Corps, a lot of what I really based my decision on is what is the development or what is the developer doing for the community around us? Because a big calling for the Peace Corps, what I was looking to get out of it was helping people and bringing my knowledge and whatever it was to another country. And I would have been teaching English in Panama, so you could teach English in Nicaragua. There's a lot that you can do there. But I just saw that ECI Development, specifically Gran Pacifica, was doing a tremendous amount in the community. If you are interested in corporate social responsibility work or volunteer work, let us know, send us a message. We have like an 80-page document that talks about some of the projects that we've worked on, some of the contributions to the local economy, and it's just a really fascinating read. But I was there for about 1.5 years, and then from there shifted over to Belize. But Nicaragua still is a place that I feel very comfortable in. It's a place that it really does feel like home when I'm back there. And it's been neat over the years just to see the progress and the development of what's been going on in Nicaragua, Managua. I was in Managua in 2018, I think it was, and there was just a lot of growth, a lot of improvement in infrastructure. That the city, Managua, was getting a big facelift. There's just a lot going on in the country. I'm not going to talk too much about the specifics of the country. Like I said before, we did a really great webinar on everything you need to know about Nicaragua. Nicaragua 101, it was done by Patrick Hebert. He's our Chief Operating Officer from Canada, who's been living and investing in Nicaragua for almost 2 decades at this point. But if you'd like to get a copy of this recording, just shoot us a message, info@ecidevelopment.com, and we'll get that over to you, info@ecidevelopment.com. And he does talk in there about safety, the politics, the climate, the government, healthcare, everything that you want to know when you're considering looking at Nicaragua from an investment or a relocation perspective. All right, Gio, why don't you give us a little bit of geography and let us know where Nicaragua is located?
Of course. Actually, we're only about 2 hours and 45 minutes from Miami. If you actually take a plane, we are in the center of Central America. We have our neighbors, Costa Rica, Honduras, and we get also a little bit, San Salvador. The nice thing about it is that you can take a plane from Nicaragua to Miami, and you can actually be in 2 hours, 35, 2 hours, 45 minutes. Gran Pacifica, it's located only 45 minutes from the airport. And Managua is the capital of Nicaragua. And we are part of Managua, but we're actually in the Pacific Ocean side a 45 minutes driving.
Fantastic. And we'll show you all a map of the specific location in just a moment here. Now, here's a question I didn't plan to ask you, Gio, but I figure you would know the answer to. People compare, well, but saying that Nicaragua really is the new Costa Rica, because we know Costa Rica has been around for a while. It's a lot more expensive than Nicaragua. What would you say your general take is on that comment? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? Fill me in a little bit.
Well, I've been in Costa Rica many times in my life. Nicaragua is a more natural, undeveloped country. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why is so much attraction to actually move even some residents from Costa Rica to Nicaragua. They're looking more, the nature that we have in Nicaragua is a bigger country. And the other thing is that because we are a bigger country, we have, I will say, more places where you can actually go. And when I mean places that you want to go, I'm talking about ocean, I'm talking about mountain, I'm talking about lakes, the city. So we have more where to go instead of just the same thing. Costa Rica is a little bit smaller, and they have developed those areas that much that is becoming a little bit crowded, right? So I think that's what's going on. Cost of living in Costa Rica is completely too high. And the reason why is because they have actually concentrated themselves in the tourism industry, and they have actually forgot about doing the right thing for themselves, which is actually work the land. Nicaragua, because of the territory side, we have actually keep doing a lot of work on the land, like I would say raising beans, corn, you name it, coffee. So we have actually kept cost of living low, while Costa Rica they don't have land where they can actually get the agriculture side working for them.
Right, and that does make a lot of sense. And I heard you mention coffee there, and if we have any coffee drinkers on the line, Nicaraguan coffee is so unbelievably good. It's I never liked coffee before I lived in Nicaragua. Went out there and then I could have the coffee black. You don't need milk, you don't need sugar, you don't need creamer in it or sweetener. It is just so unbelievably tasty. And there's really neat parts of the country, like Gio mentioned, where they're growing the coffee beans. So there you have the fresh chocolate. There's a lot going on in Nicaragua that for people who enjoy really good, pure food, you'll be able to find that there. So you touched upon this before with the amazing cost of living. Tell us a little bit more about why Nicaragua. We don't have to go into all 10 of them. I know that we went into this in quite some depth during the Nicaragua 101 presentation, but just give us a little bit more about why you find people are moving to Nicaragua, or why you have clients or guests who are even coming down to the country.
I tell you something that is not there. And how I see it, amazingly friendly people. Amazingly friendly people. I tell you something, I would say too friendly. They really want to help. They really want to help. Nicaraguans are like, that, prototype, that, hey, I want to help you. I want to help everybody. But extremely cost of living, like I said before, that's one of the main reasons, I moved actually back. Taxes here are super low. And then, of course, the process of residence is very easy. They just actually did, an adjustment and make it easier, for people, from, United States, Canada, or other countries to actually move, to Nicaragua. And then very inexpensive real estate. I mean, it's amazing what can you actually do here, with little money. It's amazing what you can buy. So I highly recommend, people who wants to come and visit, please do, when the time is right for you. Nicaragua, it's like I said before, we're only 2 hours and 45 minutes from Miami. And that will be, if you are I would say Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, Boston. If you're in that area, Miami will be, or Fort Lauderdale also will be the best way to come here. And if you are like in the Texas area, LA, Texas, I know that United actually flies, directly from California and Houston to Miami. So that would be actually the best way for you, either California or either Houston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You touched upon something that I don't actually, a couple of our property consultants who said, please make sure you mention it during the presentation, is the easy residency programs. So in Nicaragua, there is an investor residency where you just have to invest $30,000. And through that ownership, you're able to get permanent residency in the country. After 5 years, you are able to apply for a citizenship. So if you would like more information about that residency specifically, let us know. We have an FAQ guide. Like I said, I don't have a formal overview that can give you some more information. So, and Gio, you keep touching upon great points here. You mentioned the inexpensive real estate, and I do want to talk about that for a moment, because I think what a lot of people are finding is that Nicaragua is a great place where you are able to find that affordable real estate. It's very different from Pacific Costa Rica in that it hasn't had the years of tourism and attention, really, that Pacific Costa Rica has. The past 25, 30 years, we've heard all about Costa Rica, and specifically within the country, Guanacaste, which is on the Pacific side. And actually, it's only about be there in about 4 hours. So it's a very, very similar sort of geography that you're experiencing between the countries. But there is, we're going to talk about it, this perception. There's an elephant in the room when we talk about Nicaragua. And because there is this perception issue of the country, it means that there's really great opportunity to own within real estate in Nicaragua. And we're finding that, and that's the reality. You're able to get that affordable real estate. And I talked about it on our last webinar, but we have a beachfront condo for $139,000, where if you're looking at something similar in California, for example, it's going to be at least $500,000 and up. So you are able to find that there is great opportunity, and it's probably going to be 2-3 times the cost in places like Costa Rica. But when you're looking at the chart here, what this chart portrays is for investors, is for people who are looking at the real estate investment curve and they want to get the best bang for their buck, depending on wanting to produce a mature cash flow right now. You'll probably be looking in places like Pacific Costa Rica and Panama, because those two countries have been around in the tourism industry for so long. You will find that the entry pricing into that real estate is more expensive than places at the bottom part of the curve. When you look at places at the bottom part of the curve, Nicaragua, Caribbean, Costa Rica, these are the countries that have a lot more potential to appreciate because they haven't been around in the marketplace as long as Pacific Costa Rica or Panama, or just hasn't had that international and worldwide recognition. So you're able to find great opportunities that still have the potential to appreciate. Now, Nicaragua, and I mean specifically Gran Pacifica, is a little different because we are the closest beachfront community to Managua, the capital. We tend to find higher occupancy rates than other beachfront hotels within Nicaragua, because when people are looking for a 2, 3, 4 day getaway, they're coming down to the closest beach. They want to be there 45 minutes, and they're there enjoying a totally different experience. They have that R&R. They're able to enjoy a serene landscape. And so I'd say that where we're at, we still have incredible levels of appreciation because we're within the country of Nicaragua, but I'd say we may be a little bit higher on the chart as Gran Pacifica specifically, because we do have that cash flow going. We did close our doors. Gran Pacifica closed our doors for a couple of months from about April. We reopened the doors the end of July, just in time for one of the biggest holidays in Gran Pacifica, or Nicaragua more generally. And Gio gave me the name of it. It's Santo Domingo de Guzman. And we're going to deviate here for a second, but Gio, and I was talking to Gio a little bit before the presentation, he goes, I just got off a 10-day holiday. And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. He goes, no. The holiday wasn't for me. It was for our guests. And he said that we were just totally booked out at Gran Pacifica, and there Gee, I don't know if you can hear me.
I lost you for just a few seconds, but I know exactly what you're talking about. You're
Okay,
talking
yeah,
about
tell us a little
the
bit more
10
about
days
the
of
holiday.
the Santo Domingo de Guzman. Hey, you know something? It is one of the biggest Catholic celebrations here in Nicaragua. People actually move the saint from one church to another church, which is honestly, I would say about walking, because they actually do this walking, and while they're walking, there's actually dancing going around and all that. And they walk practically. It takes about 5 hours walking from the church that they're moving the saint to the other church. And they actually do that the first day of August the 1st, right? And then on August the 10th, they actually bring the saint back to the church where they actually move it. It's really nice because, you know, the belief is that you can ask for health. People are very concentrating, you know, on health here when it comes to Santo Domingo de Guzman. So they go there, they pray, you know, they give, you know, some, you know, flowers, you know, they put some flowers, some candles, and then, you know, like I said before, they do the same thing on the 10th of August. But while they move the same from one church to the other church, there is so many different type of dance that is taking place. So the 4 hours, you know, walk, or almost 5 hours walk, is nothing because you're enjoying it. And there's always, you know, people like selling different things, you know, on the road that take you from one church to the other church.
Sure, sure. And people tend to take beach holidays during that time then too, huh?
People just go to, you know, the beach. To be honest with you, it's a 10-day holiday, so they actually go, you know, to either Pacific, you know, or the Atlantic, you know, or the Caribbean side, and they just actually relax for 10 days, and then they come back on the 11th, you know, to go back to work. So it's but if you're here, make sure, if you're in August, make sure that you actually go there and see a little bit of culture about Nicaragua and Santo Domingo de Guzman.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Gio. So hopefully you're relaxing more, and I gave this prior, but we are ECI development. So our development company develops all throughout Latin America. Any other information about what we're doing in the region, just feel free to let us know. Reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to talk to you about our other projects too. But this is going to be, I think, one of our most exciting. It's one of our big, a little over 20 years ago, 100 acres and within the Gran Pacifica. So give us a little bit more, Gio. You started to tell us located, and especially in relation to that. Not a problem. So I will, you can see it there at the black dot. Gran Pacifica is located right out here where that star is on the Pacific water. And recently, about maybe 4 months ago, the 11-kilometer stretch from the primary highway out to Gran Pacifica was fully paved. So this is the difference. This is the difference from the tripping an hour and a half to 45 minutes is that 11-kilometer stretch. And Gio, I should have put the picture in the presentation. I'll do it in the next one, but there's a picture of Gio laying the last brick in the road.
That was so satisfying, to be honest with you, after 8 years driving back and forth.
Yes, Yes, is that right? Driving back and forth on that road. And I mean, it really could determine whether you were in the car for if that 45 minutes or maybe even a couple of hours, just depending on what season it was, especially rainy season. That was quite a trek. And if you didn't have a 4x4, it was going to be a little bit of a difficult ride there. But we are located, like I said, about 45 minutes from Managua. Managua is where you're going to find the big grocery stores. That's where you find the Sam's Club as well. There's Walmart there. There's also a lot of different chains, shopping central malls, if you want to go to the malls. So you'll find a lot of that there in Managua. There are a couple of little towns around as well. And that's where people that we find who are living at Gran Pacifica tend to do a lot of their shopping, are the little fruit stands or the little grocery stores, because you'll find prices that are extremely affordable and also very, very fresh. I think that's really a big key component for a lot of people. They're looking for freshness in vegetables. They're looking for the organic produce, and you're able to find that just right there around the corner. I know at one point at Gran Pacifica, we were bringing a farmer's market in, and so owners and guests and long-term renters were able just to pick up their produce right there at Gran Pacifica. All right, so Gio, you are dealing with folks who are coming in all the time. Tell us what there is to do at Gran Pacifica.
Well, like I said before, the first thing is location. Location is very important, because if you want to go from Gran Pacifica to Managua and just go to, I don't know, go shopping to like Galerías, just to say something, or just in case if you want to actually, go to one of the best theaters here in Nicaragua, first class, you can go. So if you want to go to the Teatro Nacional, so whatever you want to do, you're only 45 minutes from Managua. But the other nice thing is that you are only 45 minutes from Granada, which is an amazing historical, city, one of the most visited cities. And Nicaragua is Granada, just to let you know, very colonial, very beautiful. Then you are only 45 minutes from another historical city, León, which is the second city more visited in Nicaragua. Actually, when the cruise ship, they come here to Nicaragua, those are the two stops that they have to do. They have to go to León and Granada, because it's very historical, and also they're well known to work. Everything they do is handmade. So they're well known to do hats, clothes, linen, shoes. Everything they do is handmade. So, and on top of that is the historical side, and let's not talk about the food side. Granada is well known to actually the food in Granada is amazing. It's very tasteful, And León is very tasteful too. The big difference is that Granada is well known for the pargo frito, the whole fish, fried. And it's a very delicious, because they do a tomato and onion sauce that is called salsa tipitapa, and they put it on top, and it's just amazing. And they do what is called tostón, okay, made out of, plantain. So they're well known for that. And like I said before, León is well known actually for a good steak, a good churrasco with chimichurri or salsa jalapeña. So those are the great two stops. And Gran Pacifica is between Managua 45 minutes, León 45 minutes, and then Granada 45 minutes. Now, if you don't want to go nowhere, we have many things for you. If you're a golfer, we have a beautiful golf course that you can actually play. If you want to go actually fishing, we do actually also fishing. If you're a surfer, or if you want to actually learn how to surf, we actually have two of the best, ways in Nicaragua. Actually, one is ranked, on the top, 60 best way in the world. And we have worldwide surfers who actually come to Gran Pacifica to stay with us. Then we also have, depends if you like, to rent. We have golf carts that you can rent. We have bicycles that you can actually rent. Or if you want to relax, we have actually, our spot, where, you can get a massage if you want, your nails, haircut, depends on what we like to do. And then, you know, we have actually the restaurant. We have two different type of restaurant. We have one that is more like a pizzeria style. And then we have our, you know, restaurant, sea salt restaurant, which is, you know, we actually do mainly 60%, you know, seafood, and then 40% actually we do steaks and you know, and other type of, you know, typical plates of Nicaragua. So, and you know something, Rachel, like I said before, if they want any tours, because we do tours to Matagalpa, which is about 3 hours from Gran Pacifica, it's a very nice tour because it's a tour that goes to Matagalpa to try what you were talking about, the best coffee, the best coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But also Matagalpa, a lot of people don't know, is the #1 exporting, they're actually exporting the cacao to Switzerland. So now in Matagalpa, there are Europeans actually opening business there. And one of the best chocolates of Nicaragua is the owner, it's someone from Switzerland. And they start producing chocolates here in Nicaragua, just to let you know. And when you go into the airport area, if they actually sell you, you know, chocolates from Nicaragua, it's actually from this new company that actually is doing business here. And then the tour takes you to the Esteli, which is, you know, the best cigars. I don't know if you're aware, but La Jolla from Miami, which is, you know, the Cuban owner of La Jolla, actually has an amazing place right here in Esteli, and is one of the top producers of many cigars here in Nicaragua. So we have, I would say, different type of tours. That's just one that goes to Matagalpa and Esteli and comes back. Most of the time, that type of tour is a stay over, you know, and different cities, you know, depend on, you know, how many days you want to go. Then, you know, you can actually go also to the Caribbean side, which is amazing. Corn Island, the famous Corn Island is just beautiful. If you want to experience a little bit about the Black Nicaraguan community, which they speak, you know, Creole, they speak English, and they speak Spanish too. And it's called Corn Island, Bluefield area, the Caribbean side of Nicaragua, which is actually where they speak English.
Yes, there's a lot going on. If you're coming down for a vacation, try to plan a couple of weeks there in the country, because there really is just a tremendous amount to see. And within the Gran Pacifica community, we talked about 2,500 acres. This is a huge piece of property at this point. We're at about 10-15% developed, and it is approximately 25-30 years developing, and then have it be in operations for 50, 100, 150 years and be able to keep this legacy going. We have 3.5 miles of beachfront. Gio mentioned that there are 2 waves right there on the coast of the Gran Pacifica property that are world renowned for surfing. I'm not a surfer, but I did take surf lessons. If you can follow my cursor at the beach right over here in this area over here, it's a lot calmer than the Meat Grinders. The Meat Grinders is right over here in this area over here. That's I'd say for more expert surfers, but you have that right off of the coast. And you know what we tend to find is a lot of folks from California tend to come down to the Pacific parts of Costa Rica and Nicaragua, because what you find is a very similar sort of coastline, but specifically in Nicaragua, you're finding opportunities at just a fraction of what you'd be finding there in Costa Rica. So Gio touched upon a lot of this here. When you are at Gran Pacifica, or when you're experiencing Nicaragua generally, there's quite a bit for you to do around in the neighborhood. So this is just the general site map of the communities that we have at this point. We're going to be talking about 2 of them today. And first, we're going to go through a quick video here. And you may recognize the video from, turn it down a little bit. You may recognize the video from one of the invitations that we sent out, but this is some incredible drone footage This is the webinar that you're on now, and this is the community that we're going to be talking about, which is San Diego Viejo. It was the first phase at Gran Pacifica. You'll see there are a handful of homes, over 80 homes there on site, 204 home sites in this location here, and we're going to be talking about a couple that are available for you at this point. So you can see this is just one neighborhood here. As we get closer to the beach, then this is where we come to Las Perlas, and we talked about Las Perlas last week, but right over here on the left-hand side, you see a building and that is building 2 in Las Perlas. Building 1 right over here is already operating, and that's where we host the majority of our guests at this point. But what we also find is we have a lot of guests who are looking for rentals with us, long-term rentals or even nightly rentals, and those folks may be looking for homes, whether they're coming with a bigger group of people, so condominiums aren't necessarily the right fit for them. So what they tend to do is gravitate towards the homes there at San Diego Viejo. So again, if you're looking at opportunities at Gran Pacifica from an investment perspective, you can find that in this. And if you want a home, you can find that San Diego Viejo may be the best fit for you. The second community that we're going to be talking about is Santa Barbara Estate Homesites and Homes. And this was a neighborhood that was designed specifically for folks who wanted a larger parcel of land. We have parcels there that range from 1/2 an acre to 1.5 acres, whereas our properties within San Diego Viejo are a little bit smaller. Typically, you'll find that they're about 1/4 acre smaller, because there what we're doing is we're developing a neighborhood, we're developing a community. When you walk down the streets, you can wave to your neighbors. Also, folks who don't necessarily need a tremendous amount of space when it comes to living. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started here with San Diego Viejo. This is the first neighborhood. This is the first neighborhood that was designed. We brought UDA in there. We're the ones who designed a handful of the Disney communities, but what they did is they really gave us this understanding and true concept of community. And so as we were looking at the layout of the property, what we realized is we wanted to create efficient yet effective home sites where people could build custom homes, still feel like they had space, have enough land where they're able to garden, and really just make it feel like a community. So we're going to focus here on San Diego Viejo first. So at this point, we have 204 home lots within the community. 185 of those are sold, and we have 80 homes that are up and operating at this point. Some folks live there full time, others put it in the rental market, others do lock and leave it. Again, this all just depends on your specific situation. When you come to Gran Pacifica and you're driving through San Diego Viejo, what you're going to find are the cobblestone streets. You'll find the beachfront, of course, park areas. There are sidewalks and lights where you're able to walk from one neighbor's house to the other, and you're really within this neighborhood that's safe, that has beautiful homes. There are a lot of custom homes, but we do have plans for you to choose from as well. And this is really one of our top neighborhoods for people who want to be in the closest neighborhood to the beach, and also have that classic design of Spanish colonial homes. And so what we do, and we like to offer specials for people who are on the webinar, if you are considering ownership of property in Nicaragua, and maybe you're not necessarily at that point where you're ready to get started on a home, or maybe you are ready to get started on a home, I would recommend considering ownership in San Diego Viejo for your customized home. And we have a couple of specials for you here. The first one is a golf course lot. It's about 7,800 square feet. And these lots by themselves typically go at about $60,000, but we are offering, of course, the webinar special for about $20,000 off. And then in addition to that, we understand that times are a little strange right now, so we are offering special financing packages. I think that this is really something for you to consider. Again, you don't have to be ready to build your home right away, but if you want to get in on one of the communities, one of the neighborhoods that's developed, that's already producing, closest to the beach, closest to the amenities, this is a great one to consider. But you're able to do $5,000 down, and then the balance over a 60-month term with 0% interest. So you're able to consider that one. If you want more information on that, just put San Diego A90 in an email to us, info@ecidevelopment.com. We can get you those details. Personally, this is a favorite lot of mine because it is on the corner there. It is golf course facing, a minute walk to the beach, to the amenities, to the pool. to the restaurant, sea salt that Gio was mentioning before. So it really is quite close to everything, but you don't necessarily, and you get that special discount with it as well. Now, if you're looking for something that's a little bit closer to the beach, you want more of that ocean view, then we do have another lot. Typically, it's usually about $75,000, but we are offering it for about $15,000 off. So it comes out to a little under $60,000, but very similar, $5,000 down, and then the balance paid over a 60-month term at 0% interest. So again, easy ways to just kind of claim land now. You don't have to build on it right away. You can decide what you want to do. I know I've been speaking with a handful of you, and you're looking at, you know, doing something eventually, but not necessarily ready to build something right now. And I think that this is really a great way to jumpstart that, to lower payments. Don't necessarily have to put 100% down right now. But this is another beautiful lot. This is even closer to the water. Obviously, you have the ocean view lots there. In addition to that, if you would like more information, just feel free to send us a message and do info. You should see the email address there at the bottom, but info@ecidevelopment.com, and just type in San Diego B53, B59, San Diego B59, and we'll get those details over to you. Again, these are two really nice, I'd say, premium lots in a sense that we are willing to help you out if you are looking to acquire some property there. Then for those of you who want something that's already built, we do have a couple of homes that are being sold. So this one is going for less than $300,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, about 2,000 square feet. It has a private pool there. If you want more details on this one, just do Casa de Amor, and that goes to info@ecidevelopment.com, and you can see views there from the porch. So you can see these are really beautiful Spanish colonial designed homes with views in these two right pictures from the upstairs porch. And I'll just keep that up there for a second. If you want to Casa de Amor, info@ecidevelopment.com. And what's really neat too is we have floor plans. So what you're able to do is take a look at those. You can customize them at any point. If you wanted to just duplicate exactly what's there, you're able to do it too. You can pick out the colors for your house. What a lot of people tend to do is name their house. So you can see here, this one's called Casa de Amor. But you're able to do that as you're building your custom house and designing. And then this is another one that's there in the San Diego Viejo community. It's a 5-bed, 6-bath. This is Casa de Cinco Amigos. It is owned by 5 friends. As you may have guessed, there are some pictures of the property right there. But again, another really beautiful property, nearly 6,000 square feet. This is have your own room. You can go down on vacation every now and again, split up your time, or go down for a family reunion, something along those lines. But that one's going for about $830,000. So again, if you'd like more information on this one, this is a resale. Just do Casa de 5 Amigos, info@ecidevelopment.com. And this is all there within the San Diego Viejo community. So there are, and when you saw our site map, you can notice that there probably are a lot of different neighborhoods. We've talked about 3 of them so far in the past webinar. We still have another one to talk about next week. But what I find, and for the people who are looking at San Diego Viejo, and the ones who decide that they want to own at San Diego Viejo, are the ones who want to be close to everything. Because it is within walking distance to the beach, the clubhouse, the restaurants, the golf course, everything. Is build your dream home, build your custom home, be able to walk everywhere. Otherwise, Gio mentioned you can rent a golf cart if you'd rather have a golf cart while you're there. In addition to that, it's people who prefer to be in an already established community. We have a lot of different developments that are starting. The next one we're going to talk about is called Santa Barbara. It's a brand new estate lot. We do have a fellow who's already building a home out there, but those are larger homes, more customized, and really is growing. It's just starting to grow. But if you want to be in a neighborhood or community that already has the sidewalks in place, you have neighbors who are there who long-term rent, who live there full-time, kind of do the lock and leave it situation where they come and go as they please, snowbirds even. And then, of course, the floor plans that you can customize, that would be a great consideration for you if you're looking at San Diego Viejo. And then also just depends on what your ideal home size So typically we find the homes within San Diego Viejo range from about 1,800 square feet to 4,500 square feet. You saw that Casa de Cinco Amigos is a little bit larger at nearly 6,000 square feet, but you are able to build larger homes or smaller homes just depending on what it is that you're looking for. If you're looking for more land, then I would, of course, recommend Santa Barbara. There you have the home lots that range, like I mentioned, from about half an acre to about 1.5 acres. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But this is really a great, tight-knit community where you're able to build the house that you've been dreaming about right there by the beach and have everything you want. So if you want more information on San Diego Viejo, just email us info@ecidevelopment.com. We do try to keep these webinars to an hour. I know we're getting close to the hour, but we don't have every single detail about every single community here because we would be on the line for a few hours at least. So that's why we do recommend that if you want more customized information, let us know and we'll get those details over to you. '80 residences that are there, 80 homes that are there, built, constructed. So you'll be able to see a good overview of the properties that are already there. So that brings us to Santa Barbara Estate and Homesites. So we just talked about San Diego Viejo, which if you follow my cursor is the community over here, number 1, the blue lots. And now we're gonna jump over a little bit north to Santa Barbara. So just even at quick look, when you look at the purple lines and boxes there, you see that they are quite a bit bigger than the boxes in the blue San Diego Viejo. And that's because Santa Barbara really was designed for exclusive, larger oceanfront properties. Gio, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what, I don't know if you can share it. Can you hear me okay, Gio?
Yes. I lost you a little bit, but I know that we're talking about Santa Barbara now. Well,
Yes.
as you actually mentioned, we have a beautiful property right now being built. It's about $1,200,000, the house that is being built. We have a total of 48 state lots. One of the wonderful things about, I think, not only Santa Barbara, but all Gran Pacific is that it's not hilly, you know what I'm saying? So the hills are all way on the back, but Santa Barbara and Gran Pacifica is all level. So the nice thing is that doesn't matter if you are in San Diego Viejo or Santa Barbara, you can easily just actually go down to the ocean and you have 3.5 miles of private beach right there. Now, Santa Barbara is a little bit, I would say bigger lots, is a more, upscale, of course, because you will have to actually build a bigger house into those lots. But I think that location-wise, I like San Diego Viejo because you are so close to the old town of San Diego Viejo. You can just walk there and go to the fisherman houses and buy fish. While, Santa Barbara, even though it's not like as close as San Diego Viejo, you do have the beautiful beach of Azuchillo. Azuchillo is well known to be the place where the turtles actually come and put their eggs. So if you are into nature like I am, it's one of the most wonderful things just to go there and watch nature just develop, So I highly recommend you, a front lot in Santa Barbara because you will be actually looking down from your terrace, just to give you an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple of exclusive homefront sites and homefront lots. So this, again, like we talked about, is designed really for the people who want larger homes, you want more acreage, you want a little bit more privacy, but you want to be within the conveniences of Gran Pacifica. You want to have a restaurant close by, you want to have a pool nearby, you want to have 3.5 miles of beach to walk by. And as Gio mentioned, it's right there Osseo Beach, which is one of the most breathtaking beaches. All the pictures that you see, or a lot of the pictures that you see from our Gran Pacifica pictures, are taken there at Osseo estuaries, and you have, of course, all the utilities that you would expect to have there as you're building your estate lots. But we do have a couple of specials, of course. So if you're looking for a smaller lot, but you want to still be within this private Santa Barbara community, we have a lot there. It's normally $109,000, but we're offering it for $20,000 off. And these terms are a little bit different. It's $20,000 down, 0% interest. So your monthly payments are about $1,100 a month, about $1,200 a month around there. So if you're looking again to be within this private neighborhood, it's larger lots. You have more land, you have more space there, then that would be a consideration. If you're looking for a beachfront lot, so the other one was ocean view or water view. This one is ocean front, and these tend to be a little bit bigger. These are closer to 1 acre, and this lot usually by itself is about $430,000. We are offering it for $20,000 off, and similar schedule, but this one is 50% down, and then the balance paid over a 60-month period, 0% interest. And then when you're ready to get started and get building, you're certainly able to do that. So this community is really right for people who envisioning owning a family estate on the beach. And here when we're chatting with people who decide to own at Santa Barbara, what they've really decided is they want a place for their family. Maybe they'll build a couple of different structures on it, one for them, one for their kids, or something that they're able to pass down the family line at some point. A lot of surfers who tend to be looking for more private location tend to be interested in Santa Barbara as well. And then of course you have that privacy, you have more land. It is more exclusive in that sense. And then of course, if you're looking for that larger home. So whereas San Diego, Viejo, typically 1,800 square feet, within Santa Barbara, you find that homes are typically more 3,500 square feet to about 8,000 square feet. So again, just depends. There's no cap on how big you can do it, just as big as your lot and the setbacks allow, but it is a lot more exclusive. So Gio mentioned the home that's under construction right now. These are just some very, very preliminary pictures, but it's going to be about 3,500 square feet, 4,000 square feet. Gio mentioned about 1.2 million, and he, the fellow who's building it's from Colorado, has a beautiful beachfront parcel there that he's building really for his family. So if you want any of the details there from Santa Barbara, just type in Santa Barbara to info@ECI development.com, and we're happy to talk through those details with you. So Gio gave us his SD card from his camera, and he said, I have some pictures that I've taken at Gran Pacifica, and you wanted to look through it. So I did snag a couple. Thank you, Gio, for those. Of course, his wife and his beautiful daughter have gone the Polaris. And then this is down here below. Do you know what kind of fish it is, Gio? I don't know if he can hear me, but it isn't. If you know the type of fish it is, just type it there into the Q&A session. But this is a Gran Pacifica, and right off the coast there is a huge surfing, surfing of course, but also fishing location. So if we have any fishermen who are on the line, feel free to come on down and check that out. And then the picture above is from the Gran Pacifica residents WhatsApp chat that we have going on, and I just thought it was too beautiful to not share. So if you would like a copy of the Nicaragua handbook, feel free to email us at info@ECI Development. Just put handbook in the subject line there, and we'll get this over to you. This covers everything you need to know about the country. Basically, it's our Nicaragua 101 presentation in written form, so it's easy for you to follow along and skip ahead to what you want. And then almost last but not least, we do have another webinar coming up about one of our other neighborhoods, one of our newest neighborhoods at Gran Pacifica. It's a pre-construction opportunity, our tiny home village at Osseo Beach, so up north a little bit more from Santa Barbara. You'll be able to find our eco-friendly, totally off-the-grid community that we're officially going to be launching next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's August 18th. You should be getting an email registration for it over the next couple of days. If you don't, just feel free to email us at info@ecidevelopment.com. All right, so just to recap what we talked about, if you are interested in home lots, and this is ideal for somebody who wants lower payments right now, who's not necessarily ready to build a home, but at some point you will want to, maybe you want to customize it, maybe you want to choose it directly from the directory, whatever you want to do, that's totally up to you. But there are a couple of lot specials. So the 5-minute walk from the beach, this is the lot that's on a corner overlooking the golf course for $39,900. San Diego Viejo, if you want that ocean view, then it's $59,900. If you're looking for the larger estate lots, Santa Barbara, this is S40, and then that's ocean view as well. And then if you're looking Santa Barbara larger lot, you want close to that acre, this is directly beachfront for $409,000. So I'm going to keep that up because I know that there's a lot of information. We talked a lot of numbers. This is not meant to be a comprehensive overview of these neighborhoods. I just wanted to get you the general information. I do see that we are a couple of minutes past 6, but what I would still like to do is get a couple questions answered, and then what we can do from there, if we don't get to your question, is our team will reach out with you specifically about your answer and go from there. So I'm seeing quite a bit of questions here. Kathy asks, what about visas for staying longer than 6 months? I'm from the UK. So you're able to enter the country for 90 days at a time on a tourist visa. Typically what folks tend to do is they'll do border runs, so 72 hours outside of the country, hop on a bus and go to Costa Rica, enjoy Costa Rica, hop on a plane and visit us in Belize. You're able to do that as well. But that is the standard amount of time as a tourist. If you are looking to be in the country for longer than that, and you know, I'd recommend doing that for a few bouts at a time. But if you seriously are considering living in the country or spending as much time as you want, qualify you for the investor residence. And then after 5 years, if you do want that citizenship, you can certainly apply over time. I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in. Internet is really quite stable. I mean, you are in a developing country. Sometimes it fades in, sometimes it fades out, but we do have fiber optics there at Gran Pacifica. It was actually the first fiber optics connectivity there in Nicaragua was there at our Gran Pacifica site. We've been maintaining it, keeping up with it, and it really is quite good. I don't know the fastest speed it goes to, Sebastian, but we can certainly get that answer for you. I see Brian was asking about internet. Food stores on site. So there are the restaurants that are there on site. We do have a little convenience store as well. If you need anything while you're on vacation. But otherwise, what I would recommend if you're vacationing is stopping off at the grocery store in Managua, or there are some fruit stands and little shops around Gran Pacifica as well if you need to pick up groceries or anything pretty basic. I see Brian is asking about the lot. Does it give you the right to path for citizenship? So what you're able to do is apply for the investor residency once you have made the investment. So the investor residency is that you invest $30,000 into the country, and then from there we can send you, Brian, the FAQ guide that goes through that path a little bit more. But then after having that residency for 5 years, then you're able to apply for the citizenship. It doesn't automatically give it to you. You do still have to apply for residency. You have to apply for citizenship, but we can certainly give you those details. I would say, Brian, if you don't mind just emailing us info@ecidevelopment.com, that would be super helpful, and we'll make sure that we get that over to you very, very soon. I see Alejandro. Alejandro, I don't know which Alejandro you are. It doesn't show your last name. He said B59. If you don't mind just emailing us info@ecidevelopment.com, we'll get you those details for B59. I see someone asked about a grocery store market on site. I hope we got that answered for you. If you want any other further clarification, let me know that. This is a good question, and I think I understand it. I may need Gio to step in if I'm incorrect, but I'm quite trying to understand it. If folks can get down to Nicaragua now, are they required to show a negative COVID test or be tested at the airport? Yes, they are within 72 hours of travel. I believe they can be tested at the airport as well, but Nicaragua right now is one of the easiest going countries in all of the world right now. I know that I get a lot of questions asking about it, saying, I wish that they didn't give me a COVID test. Well, I can tell you at least their border is still open. A lot of countries have closed their borders, are not letting anybody come in or anybody get out. And Nicaragua is the one place that I know of, at least, that has said, you know what, you can come in, you can come out. And if this is the only requirement to get in, I think it's let you in at all. But they've been very laissez-faire about how it's all been handled. But I would say that you do want to get that test before you go. Sunny, we mentioned this a little bit before, but he asked if there are any international flights arriving in Managua. Is the airport open? Yes, the airport is open. The US-based airlines are not coming down to Managua. They have, I think they're starting again in September, so there's a little bit more time before they get started. A couple of folks I know who've made their way down to Nicaragua ended up going through Mexico, because you're able to fly to Mexico, and then Mexico, you're able to get down to Nicaragua. Some people have chartered planes as well, but otherwise, if you have a little bit of time to wait, I would say the US-based airlines will start again next month. I'm seeing here Alejandro again. Sorry, I don't know which Alejandro this is. We can get you more specific details, but he asks, what is the typical cost of a condo, monthly Pacifica cost? So I'm assuming that means monthly cost to rent. We can get those details for you depending on if you want a studio up to a 3-bedroom, if you want beachfront, if you want to be off beach. We find a lot of people tend to do long-term rentals in our casitas, which are 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Those are less than $1,000 a month. But if you specifically want to be in a beachfront condo, just shoot us a message and we can get you those details. Like I said, I'm just seeing a lot of emails come. Some of them we haven't been able to answer. Some of them we'll get back in touch with you if we were not able to do that. But what I'm going to recommend is, if anybody has anything specific that we haven't covered, or if you want to get that Nicaragua 101 presentation, let us know. We can get that over to you. I see a lot more coming in. I just want to make sure we're able to get everything answered fully for you. So email us info@ecidevelopment.com. We'll be able to get those details over to you. If you're working with a property consultant right now, feel free to reach out to them as well for the specific questions, and we'll make sure that they are all answered. Gio, any final words that you want to say here?
Hey, my final word is, I lived there, in the United States for 30 years. After 8 years being back in Nicaragua, I know for a fact that I did the right thing. Ladies and gentlemen, don't wait too long. No more traffic, no more long hours sitting in a car, no more taxes. Quality of life, very inexpensive real estate, good healthcare, good food, good people, a lot of nature. So make sure that as soon as you can, take a flight, come over. Like I said before, my name is Giovanni Rodriguez. I actually live in Gran Pacifica and Managua. I go back and forth, and it will be my pleasure to take you around and give you some directions, okay? So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And if you have any question personally for me, since I used to live in the United States for 30 years, I will be more than happy to help you in any questions you have.
Fantastic. If you do have questions for Gio, just mention Gio's name in the email that you send us, and we'll make sure he gets a copy of those. And Gio is a fantastic tour guide. He definitely knows all the hot spots around.
I like good food, Rachel.
Good food. You have good jokes, good stories, Gio. I really don't know how it gets much better than that.
I take you to those, it's like one of those things. I take you to those little places where you go like, wow, I didn't even know that this exists. But they do exist. They're wonderful places. There's a lot of people here from United States, also Europeans and Canadians. And it's really interesting to see, like, chefs moving into, these areas, and they open their own business too. And something, it's amazing what's going on in Nicaragua. I'm really excited because as a world travel that I am, I love sometimes to go to a good Canadian restaurant, or even Chinese, Thailandese, or even, something. I always say my Italian side is always there. So this is an Italian restaurant. The owners are from Italy, and I tell you something. Every time I feel like, hey, I want to taste a good pasta, I go there. So anyway, if you have any questions, though, I am here to help you in any way I can.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Gio. Thank you, everybody, for staying tuned. We really appreciate it. Look forward to hearing from you and hopefully seeing you down there in Nicaragua at some point. Adios.